Okay, hello and welcome everyone to Player Zero's Rat Tournament stream. So, before we start looking into our matches, I'm just going to briefly explain what the tournament is and what you can expect for this stream. So, this tournament was basically done as a way to test our new connection software, which is Radman. And I mean, spoiler alert, I believe worked out quite well, so that's what we end up going for. But as for the tournament format, it was Freaky Friday, and to briefly explain what that is, so this is a format where players are given a choice between two builds from previous New Moon folders, so from previous tournaments that we've had throughout last year and 2019, and people get to choose one folder that they play with. So it'll be interesting to see how different players pilot these different builds. And tournament style was as a Swiss 6-round Swiss tournament with a best of 5 finals match between the top 2 players. These matches won't be shown in the same order they were played, so it was just a random selection. And yeah, finals match will be the last one we'll show. So going to be joining on commentary today is Buster Cannon. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited for the stream.
Absolutely.
Alright, let's head right into our first match, which is BitMuffin vs Shadow.
Alright. Let's take a look at these builds.
Okay, so BitMuffin is playing the build that Salad used in New Moon 2019 Cycle 4, and Shadow is using a build from Honor Knight in New Moon 2019 Cycle 12, so there's quite a bit of time difference between them.
So what you've got here is, I noticed that BitMuffin is running a Shuffle BRS, and that's sort of an interesting choice for Gregor because, well, Gregor does normally thrive with utilizing the high attack power from its charge shots. BRS is a bit different because its win condition is centered around that, and it can be very interesting to see how setting that up is going to be.
Yeah, exactly, and having Shuffle as the option to, so in Falzar running something like Bug the Thunder and dedicating your folder to it is less punishing. Because you have Dust Cross, which allows you to go through your build much more easily and find your win condition quickly. But we saw that Salad decided to go with Shuffle Navicust, which is actually very rare to see.
Yeah, Shuffle is, and you, especially within regular BN6 format, you don't see Shuffle too often because it takes up so much space, and that's real estate that you could allocate to other parts of building your Navi customizer. And you, especially in the case of Gregor, you have to sacrifice a lot to put Shuffle in there.
Yep.
So the attack power that you normally see with Gregor isn't there. I noticed that BitMuffin only has an attack +1 in this one, so you're not really getting too much damage with the crosses. Yep. And however, I noticed that there's also the uninstall setup, and that's to help, well, one that hinders, the movement from the other side in terms of not being able to cross holes and take more hits from the Bug Rise Sword, and also removing things like Super Armor, which can be very scary if you're, minus area and you've got a guy using Bug Rise Sword and you're flinching every time. You're not able to charge your own shots. So it can be very oppressive when it's done correctly. The challenge is getting there, and I also noticed that BitMuffin, in their setup, they don't have air shoes, just float shoes.
Yeah.
So depending on the field conditions, it can kind of be a toss-up as to whether they can get to where they need to go.
Yeah, exactly. And so if we look at Shadow's build, we can see that he doesn't really have any way of breaking panels. So Geddon is a very common thing to see that Gregor see from Gregor, but he doesn't have that. He also has float shoes, which is probably why he or Honor Knight decided against adding Geddon in the folder.
Yeah, the only real way that this setup could break panels is Elect Beast, but talking about Gregor builds, this is a more traditional Gregor build as opposed to the BitMuffin Salad one where it's specialized with Shuffle BRS. So you kind of see two versions, but two different play styles coming in, and that's very interesting. I also see Delta Ray, and I like Delta Ray a lot, especially as you said when you're not breaking panels, because you can do quite a bit of damage if it's set up correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 290 for 3 hits is nothing to sneeze at all. So it's
and we also so one thing to know for this matchup is that for Baghar's sword, the optimal positioning would be with plus area and in the middle to confirm a hit. So that is also the optimal area for Delta Ray to hit.
Right. It's funny because it works very well, like as you said, as a check to certain things. Like it checks /cross in a way because the space that /cross or BRS is standing in, like that's prime Delta Ray area. So that's something that Shadow's going to have to watch out for, because that can very well turn the tide of a match, especially with the amount of setup that BitMuffin will have to go through to get there in the first place.
Yeah, and Shadow does have 2 anti-swords as well, which is also another chip that you don't see that often. We see the potential for Bodyguard PA though. I feel it's unlikely that Shadow will go for it.
Yeah, I think with BRS especially, I think Shadow will get a lot more value out of the anti-swords, because that's 300 damage each time. You get the invincibility, which is nice while you're swinging it, and it's a lot harder to avoid. Like Bodyguard, you can tank it with you can take a hit with super armor and keep moving.
Yeah.
Anti-sword, if it goes off in the middle, you just have to eat all 3 of those. There's not much you can do about that. I noticed the element trap too, so there's a lot of really good trap action in this folder. Just being able to stop or damage BitMuffin for doing a lot of what's in their folder.
Yeah, though interestingly enough, I don't think Element Trap is as good against BitMuffin because BitMuffin will want to go for Bugrise Sword as soon as possible. So you don't expect them to use Elec or Heat Beast for Heat Crosses, for example.
True. Well, although you do have the Wood Dragon, so that is one thing to watch out for. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Grass Element Trap, not only it doesn't flash you, but it also confuses you too.
Yeah.
So it's something to watch out for.
Yeah, and I believe that's everything. Do you have anything else to add?
Oh, that's pretty straightforward. So let's move on to the match.
Alright, let's hop right into it.
Ooh, we got the Guardian field here.
Ooh, neither of them are in Falzar, so we'll see how they decide to cross to try to deal with it.
The tricky thing is, if either one of them gets an area grab and goes for something like Slash or BRS, they're going to hit the Guardian. So they've got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like Amden is going for, BitMuffin is going for Charge Cross, which is a pretty good way of destroying Guardian because it gives you invulnerability frames during the charge shot, so you can just avoid it completely.
I wonder if Shadow will go for the same thing. It's common as regular players do this on turn 1. Like I think that's their way of dealing with Guardians, whereas Falser, like you said, they'll just take dust and absorb both of the Guardians.
Yeah. And especially with the grass fields, going into Charge Cross is even more tempting. And yeah, there it is.
Ooh, this is going to be double damage off that element, man.
Nice.
The BitMuffin opts to take out that punish for that Guardian, and Shadow does in turn.
We can see Warp Step from BitMuffin, which can actually be a good defensive play. Ooh, but we see the Bubble Wrap that can be difficult to deal with.
So one thing that's interesting is that in most cases, Gregor players love to go at slow gauge because it helps them out. In a situation like this, where BitMuffin is digging, this can actually be a detriment.
Yeah.
Because BitMuffin wants to access their customized, or yeah, their custom screen like as often as possible until they draw BRS. However, Shadow just wants to put the slow gauge on so that he can do as much passive damage as possible with the charge shots. Ooh, and you have the judge, man.
I think that was too early, yeah.
He wasn't on. They weren't on screen yet.
Let's see. I think that
Ooh,
might
that's gonna be a decross.
Let's see if BitMuffin's able to avoid. Nah.
The double damage.
Oh, nice. Can they remove that bubble wrap?
Nice. So this is going to get rid of the bubble wrap and also restore a little bit of the area as well. Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, nice. And we see that full cost, so expecting that to be used straight away.
Oh no. Yeah, full cust is an excellent option when you want to dig through your folder some more.
Yeah.
Especially when you have shuffle or dust shoot on hand.
Yeah, now BitMuffin has custom bug as well, which I don't believe we've talked about. Do you want to explain how that works?
Yes, so with custom bug, it usually comes with programs that give you more cust, and what it does is over time, like each turn, you'll lose one chip from the custom menu.
Yeah.
And what this means is that unless you use bug fix, it'll eventually drop down to 2, and it becomes very hard to sift through your folder.
Yeah, if we don't see bug fix or at least that Giga come out, then it might be looking rough for BitMuffin. Oh, nice.
Ooh, Sanctuary to mitigate some of the damage.
But unfortunately, they do have crack bug, which means every time they step on a panel, there is a chance that the panel gets cracked.
Ooh, it's gonna hurt a little bit. Yeah, BitMuffin is fighting for area. I know you mentioned the crack panel bug, but also the warp step as well.
Oh, there is.
The BRS is there.
No bug fix and no real way of getting plus area, so this can be quite rough.
Yeah, there's no wind rack this turn or any way to push Shadow all the way back, and that's going to be crucial.
I think
I would take the other area grab.
There's no. They have to wait for the area to come back, or just have to throw away their area grab. Ooh.
That's going to tear through both of those defenses. I think BitMuffin is opting to time it out. Oh, there we go.
Just to get the confirmed hit. Oh, nice. And now
See, Shadow opts to hang back because that sword isn't going to reach unless BitMuffin can claim some more area.
And these, because Shadow doesn't have air shoes, so these broken panels can actually deny his charge shots.
Oh no, okay. So BitMuffin shuffled away the area grab, and that's gonna hinder their ability to do damage with that BRS. But the recovery is gonna help.
Yeah. I think at this point going into Beast Hour might be a good option, just to chip charge that one chip trying to get in some more pressure. Oh, Shadow using his defense. We still don't really know what he used, so...
Oh, and that, the warp step is a little bit of a hindrance here.
Yeah. And Shadow's actually camping forward, which makes me tempted to think that he has anti-sword, but I guess we still don't know. Still no bug fix, so in the shuffle, but unfortunately it's...
Yeah, this is tricky, but that wind rack and the ground man is going to help a little bit.
Ooh, is Shadow able to avoid the wind? Yes,
Oh,
he was.
oh man.
Just barely at the end there.
Yeah, that has to be anti-sword.
Ooh, the wind rack. Down to an HP, and yeah, that finishes the game off.
Ooh. Let's see if BitMuffin can make some adjustments this round.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate luck with the shuffle. So we have BitMuffin going into charge cross early, and then still not getting bug fixed throughout all of the game. So that was really unfortunate.
Oh, and turn 1 bug fix.
Oh, nice. Okay, so going for more defensive turn. I mean, maybe throwing away the slow gauge might be a good idea. You expect that Shadow will go straight into his slow gauge because he has more advantage out of it.
Yeah, in a situation like this, using the slow gauge wouldn't be the best idea because I know BitMuffin still wants to dig for the BRS itself, but having bug fix does give you a lot of breathing room.
Yeah.
And again, because... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, because this isn't an attack 5 setup, normally with Gregor, you start throwing out your charge shots as a way to deal more damage, but that's a little... It's not as effective in a setup like this because the main goal is to go for BRS, so they're not going to hurt as much.
Yeah, I definitely think charge is the correct play here. Just trying to get the extra custom, and even defensively can allow you to avoid some attacks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also, those volcano panels are going to be an issue too. Especially because BitMuffin wants to get up front.
Yeah, that's a oh, at the very end, just getting clipped to that charge shot. Elec Cross, I think, has one of the more difficult charge shots to avoid because of how long it stays and how quickly it can come out.
Yeah, it's very active, and I actually really like the choice by Shadow. Oh, it's Element Trap. I like the choice of Shadow to use Elec Cross because with the volcano panels, getting up front isn't necessarily the best idea.
Yeah.
And this allows Shadow to kind of hang back and just pester BitMuffin with the elect shots. So.
Yeah, and also that allows Shadow to hold into Race Cross, which you might want to go out with Beast instead of just rushing into it.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Well, I thought I saw the BRS pop up for a second there. But yeah, the priority now for BitMuffin will be... Yeah, I agree with the Sanctuary usage. Because I think getting rid of those volcano panels will help a lot. And I think that wind rack will also help get rid of that bubble. But see if BitMuffin opts to go for that or not.
Yeah, I think for me, when I use Sanctuary, I like to use it when I'm at least at neutral area or minus, because if Shadow gains back his area with Judgment, then now he has these Sanctuary panels, and...
Ooh,
that's unfortunate. Actually, that's one thing we didn't really touch on, but Bubble Wrap can be very annoying for Bugrai Sword in protecting against it.
That's true, because you have a regenerating barrier that comes out at almost the same timing, so like the damage per second you're dealing like gets hit a bit. Whereas with Bug Depth Thunder, it doesn't really care. It's electric, so it just goes right through it. This is very tricky.
Ooh, nice.
And like you said about using Sanctuary when you're plus area, like prime example here, Shadow reclaimed the area and is able to stay on the Sanctuary panels to have his own damage.
Yeah.
That Element Man may be a very good choice to remove this.
Yeah.
Because now BitMuffin has the option of popping the bubble with electric, or even just freezing the panels with ice and
Yeah, I mean, Electric I think would be quite a good option. Would deal with all of the defense coming out from Shadow. Ooh,
Oh, that was a miss.
yeah, that was unfortunate. Okay, so Air Grab will deal with that anti-damage.
Ooh, last man SP, but it's gonna be half damage.
I think BitMuffin has Element Man, so they can try to limit Shadow's movement.
Ooh, this is gonna be a good decross opportunity.
Okay.
However, getting rid of their
Yeah.
own holy panels, see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, at that position, I think I would have gone into Elec actually, because now Shadow has some opportunity to step around Bagrai's sword, whereas with Elec that would have broken his back panels, which would confirm Bagrai's sword.
And that's right too, because again, they're not using air shoes, or neither
Yeah.
one of them are using air shoes. So any holes you can put in the field. Oh, I'm looking at the chat. So, okay, BitMuffin was saying that they didn't realize that Heat Body doesn't protect against the volcanoes.
Aha, I see.
Yeah, volcanoes are those are neutral.
Yeah.
Which is a weird design choice, but so BitMuffin pushed back. Oh, this is good. This is a pop bubble. That'll go right through. And that confirms that, oh, it's Element Trap. Wow, that tears right through the life ore.
Yeah, the unfortunate life ore just went away without really doing much.
The good news here is that BitMuffin can press with area now. There's an area grab here, and really they can get right in there and start slashing.
And we've already seen Grab Revenge being used from Shadow, so BitMuffin has the opportunity to try to pressure it more heavily with plus area. But let's see, if they get another area grab that would be ideal. Unfortunately, doesn't look like it.
And that's a good point too, just being aware of your opponent's chips. Like, you know that if it's grab banish, they can have one more, but if it's grab revenge, there's only one, and if they use it, you know that you can pressure harder.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good for BitMuffin. Ooh. Trap removal.
That machine gun, nice. That's free dealing with the anti-damage.
This is still a very good position for BitMuffin.
Yeah.
Especially with those holes.
Unfortunately didn't create any full holes, so with flow shoes that Shadow has, he's able to somewhat go through them. Ooh. Nice.
One thing I do like about BRS is that, unlike BDT, it charges a lot faster.
Yeah.
And you can really rack up some hits in a small amount of time like that.
Yeah. I think the charge speed for Bagrai's sword is about the same length as for flashing to end, so it can be very pressuring.
These recover 300s are going to help a lot.
That's really nice. Ooh.
Oh, you knew it was coming too.
Ooh, that's sword.
This is still very good positioning.
Yeah, and now BitMuffin still has the option to use another air grab, so they can get in at least one more charge shot, I believe. Nice, yeah.
And the uninstall just for kicks and giggles.
Yeah, I mean, machine gun uninstall can very easily finish the game.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. If it doesn't kill Shadow outright, like, it's gonna severely cut off his movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dragons are just there to finish it, but
Yeah.
looking at the field right now and what an uninstall would do is...
Ooh, but BitMuffin doesn't have any defense, so if they aren't careful, we could be seeing Delta Ray to finish off the game. Unfortunate miss. Let's see if Shadow's able to avoid it. 1 HP, but then
Oh,
unfortunately,
yeah, wrong place.
yeah, just to try to get that invis.
Looking at it now, and I used these before, but the turn where BitMuffin chose those chips, I think one thing that BitMuffin could have done is go into a race cross because the machine gun would get an extra damage boost,
Yeah, that's fair.
and that would have actually killed outright.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Especially when you're playing Gregor, one thing to note is just how much the cross you're in can influence what's going on. Ooh, so very early bug fix.
Yeah.
And a full cuss. It's a very advantageous position.
So with area grabs, I think for BitMuffin it might be better for them to try to hold on to these area grabs. Even though they do have 5, each area grab can be very valuable, as we saw last game. So instead of using it a bit early now,
especially early on where you don't have BRS up yet, and the main reason you want the area grabs in the first place is to pressure with BRS.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, to be fair, this folder is very unusual. You basically never see anyone doing shuffle and buggerized sword.
Right.
So it can be very tricky to play. I think even Salad, who made this build, always said that this was one of the more difficult builds that she made to pilot. Unfortunately losing.
Ooh, I think BitMuffin wanted the ice. Oh.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think the match was a bit laggy between them. So you see these misses, which are unfortunate now. That race man moving as well. Now BitMuffin will have to try to move around charge cross. Charge cross is also quite difficult to avoid. Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
charge cross, it's when your opponent is dashing at you like that, they can do it in such a way where you're constantly running into them in an effort to avoid it. It looks easy to dodge when you're watching, but it's a lot harder in practice. It's a good thing you got the BRS back after that shuffle. These recover the hundreds are going to have a lot.
Yeah, so I think that was maybe a difficult decision between going for buggerized sword or these recoveries. Okay, so in chat, BitMuffin is saying that this was one of the earlier matches for them, so they improved as they were playing this folder. So looking forward to see future matches.
Absolutely. And that's one thing about tournament play that people don't really talk about is, one, you're dealing with nerves when you play in any kind of tournament, but also that warming up that takes place. And that can sometimes take a couple matches before you really feel like you're playing the way that you want to.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this format, which is Freak Friday, where you play builds made by other people, so you need to really try to go in depth trying to understand the decisions they made, why they made them, and how to pilot it.
Yeah, there's a lot of research that has to go in, like even on your end, just knowing what the win condition is and then how to use it correctly. So, and on top of that, Battle Network's not the easiest game to play either, so it's a lot of variables that go into it. I like that order of using Sanctuary first, and like you said, using it when you're at neutral or minus. Just kind of give some insurance. Ooh, that's okay. That's smart. Gets rid of the element trap.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Element is such a good chip.
BitMuffin trying to get a hit to try to deal with the anti-damage. Nice.
Nice. Okay, this can actually be the start of some really good momentum here.
Yeah, and we see these two area grabs, so this can be really good pressuring for BitMuffin.
And I don't think Shadow has used his grab revenge, right?
I don't think so. Ooh.
Yeah, it's not going to save him from the BRS.
Yeah.
But he does have 2 layers of defense up.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That was an end sword. Nice.
Wow, the life aura and then the barrier 200. Does not want to get hit.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice from Shadow to take both of these in one turn. But now BitMuffin's HP is getting quite low.
Yeah, and then on that note of hard to dodge charge shots, let crosses is, like you said, it's not easy to dodge at all. You almost have to stand still and let them kind of walk past you and shoot it. If you try and dodge it manually, you will get hit.
Yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a difficult position for BitMuffin to try to come back, but I think it's more than possible because they have barrier 200, they have the anti-damage, so there's a good bit of defense. Ooh. Okay, so there's still one area grab, so they should be able to regain area. Nice.
Oh, wrap. Oh man.
Yeah, this bow wrap can be rough.
Oh no.
Looks like Shadow just took all of his area regaining chips and was...
Shadow literally dumped all of his defense. These are really good dodges though. If BitMuffin can just hold on for like the rest of this turn.
Ooh,
oh no.
1 HP.
Ooh, the life aura though.
Oh, nice.
And I saw that Shadow did use a wind rack earlier. Yeah, I would take both of those wind racks personally.
Yeah, and an area grab, so that could allow BitMuffin to get him with charge shots.
So this...
Ah, no, the unfortunate TFC. And yeah, that will finish off our first game.
Yeah, well played. That was actually really close because BitMuffin would have taken that if that life aura got a chance to go up.
Yeah, and that was well played from both sides. So it was a bit rough on BitMuffin playing this folder, which is very difficult to pilot and is a folder that they didn't even make. So
right. Yeah, so well played. Definitely both sides.
Played. Alright, let's head into our next match, which will be Mars vs Emden.
Alright, so this is my first question. Is Mars playing this on a dance pad or no?
Unfortunately, I don't think he is. At least we don't have any evidence that he is.
Oh man, you need that dance pad cam back.
Yeah.
So our last match was double Gregor versus Gregor, and this is Falter versus Falter. So you've got Nerith's folder versus Tri's folder, and off the bat, I noticed that Mars is going with Mars and Nerith. They're going with the J code. So they've got the Destroy Pulse set up here. They've got base anomaly. I know Solix Cross is probably sitting there smiling, looking at this folder.
I mean, both of them have.
Both of them, yeah. I actually really like. So there's Poison Furrow in here too.
Yeah, so it's always fun trying to see the crazy builds that Nerith tries to go for, and without exception, so things to watch out for. Basically, the checklist for a Nerith build, he has basically no defense. Expect to see Super Vulcan, Poison Seeds, Destroy Pulse.
Yeah, this folder is really full of burst damage. So you've got Destroy Pulse, like you said. Poison Pharaoh, which is interesting because Poison Pharaoh can be kind of controversial in BN6 in that it's not as strong as it used to be in previous games. Like it only has 100 HP. the poison doesn't pierce invisible anymore,
Yeah.
so it's not seen as much. But if it gets set up, it's still very scary because you will die pretty quickly.
Yeah, I believe it does 1 HP per frame, which is the same as the HP drain from Beast Over.
Yeah, and that's scary. But you've also got the burst damage from Super Vulcan. So you've got double point attack 30, and when you're in Beast Out and that gets pulled out, like you can die like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
And we have Destroy Pulse PA as well.
yeah, that's very strong. Pierces invisible, blinds you for a very long time, and even hits Tomahawk's status guard, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing that paralyzes through Stats Guard.
Yeah, so it's no joke. Like, you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. But the only Navi chips that Mars is going to be using are the big three, which are Erase, Judge, and Element. There's no extra splashing going on, so this is very straightforward. Like, the folder is mainly focused on using that. And thankfully, on Elmo's side, there's no beat, so that's not going to take away any of those 3 Navi chips or that base, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And so if we go for the build that Amden or Elmo's playing, so we can see a few interesting pieces actually. We can see these V-dolls, so it's mostly V-code chip and V-code folder. But we can see V-dolls, we can see Golem Hit, Bubble Star, Rusky Honey. So there's a few interesting choices there as well.
Yeah, this is straight up V-code. You've got... I like the Bubble Star Doll Thunder combo. It's very solid. Unless there's status guard, it's going to hit, which is good. You've got the Super Vulcan, attack plus 30. There's 2 white capsules on this one. So it makes you kind of wondering what the intention is here in terms of stun combos or just using certain chips to get stun in places where you otherwise wouldn't. V-Doll is interesting because you can tag that with either some extra damage. You've got the Golem hits as well, so you don't see V-Dolls that often, come to think of it. So.
Yeah, even though it does have a few good options, and having Super Vulcan on code can actually be really strong, being able to set it up with Bubble Star.
Yeah, that's actually very strong, because that's, you can lock you down with Bubble Star, go with the Super Vulcan, and next thing you know, you lost a bunch of health. Especially when you're in Beast Out, like that's a very good combo. Oh, so Emden is saying that he has the Darkness PA.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like 2 V-Dolls in base, right?
Okay, I didn't know was the requirement for that.
Yeah, I guess neither one of us see Darkness at all, so I almost forgot what the requirements were to set that up. But yeah, it's a great option as well, and I believe the first hit of Darkness is Fire Element, so if this catches Mars and Tomahawk, it could be very dangerous.
Yeah. And we see that grass seed, so try when they made that folder, they had that in mind probably.
Yeah, that's actually a very scary situation to be in.
Yeah, so I think a few things to point out about the build. So we'll be looking forward to see how Amden tries to play around them. Is that we don't see any machine guns, so these V-Dolls can be risky to play. And another thing is that so it can be difficult to try to manage your damage. So for Amden, if they end up missing 1 Bubble Star Doll Thunder combo, then that's a big chunk of their damage, especially with Nerth running these 2 recoveries.
That's true. Now, the one thing I do like about this setup is that there's attack max and charge max to fall back on. And while Vulture doesn't have the raw damage and power of Gregor's crosses, you still have some very powerful options. With an area grab, Tomahawk can definitely slash its way to, good damage that way. And different charge shots can still definitely add up over time.
Although unfortunately you see that Amden only has 2 area grabs, which can be a bit rough, especially because both of the main crosses you'd want to go for damage need area grabs, which are Tengu and Tomahawk.
Yeah, and there's actually very little area control in this order
Yep.
as well. So outside of Judgment, like there's no way to get area back, and there's no win racks either. So without Tengu, like it can be pretty rough if you get locked down like that.
Yeah, that is a good point. Alright, let's head into the match and see how both players will end up playing around their folders.
Alright. So the area grabs are already up and available. Actually, the Super Vulcan's right there too. So this...
And the plus 30. Ooh.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could immediately beast out and just start shooting.
Yeah, though unfortunately Mars doesn't have uninstall, so
yeah, and the white pill's not there either.
Okay, so Mars does have attack +4, so going into Tengu can be a lot of DPS, which looks like that's something Mars is thinking about.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Mars just wants to blow that barrier off immediately and not think about it. Yeah.
Ooh.
This is actually a very scary situation because this is D-Cross.
D-Cross. He's just smashing out, yeah. Unfortunately for him, then just losing that spot cross straight away. At least it wasn't D-Crossed by Destroy Pulse. That would be devastating.
Oh, that's dirty.
Yeah. Ooh, no.
You're looking at with the area plus, like that meteor could actually be. Ooh, and imagine if this is a call out for Tomahawk Cross.
Yeah, or even just with the plus 30, that can deal a lot of damage actually.
Yeah, especially with the column lock. Okay. Smart. The slow gauge first, just to give Mars enough time to confirm it.
Yeah, and he's going to
and with Tengu, that can push him back too.
Yeah, so he's going to be pressuring with Tengu charge shot, which is one of, if not the highest DPS in the game in terms of charge shots.
Ooh, Tengu.
Okay. Ooh, Vidal. Mars probably going to try to... That was a bit risky. Just, Buster Shot just to deal
get rid of it.
Ooh, and that max area just waiting for the Invis to run out. And there it is. See how much damage it does. Oh wow. That's like, I think about 700 damage.
Mars really put a dent in that HP, so this is...
And then doesn't have any recoveries either, so losing HP can be very devastating.
I think Mars is going to beast out here just to close it out.
Yeah, and he does have...
And between that and... Ooh.
Unfortunately, the end lag with Illic Pulse 3 is a bit too long. And Super Vulcan coming out! Ooh!
I think Mars wanted to beast charge that initially, but he's no, I need to recover.
And now his Buster Shots can be enough to close off the game if he's able to land enough of them. Let's see, and he's doing very well avoiding them, nice.
Another recover, yeah, I would take that.
Yeah, definitely. Now this is actually a really close game. If either of them have their Giga, there's a lot of ways that this game can just finish.
That's the thing about Battle Network, like it's never over till it's over.
Yeah. Just like a single turn, both of their HP dropped by over 1,000, so...
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Mars doesn't take the recovery with him.
And so it can be a difficult decision because if base anomaly comes out from Amden, then recovery isn't going to be useful, whereas life orb would be very valuable. Ooh.
On the flip side, there's Tengu Cross,
Yeah.
so Tengu can just rip the aura off. Oh,
Okay, that's fine. That was actually a good TFC, being able to get some damage in, and I had the white capsule as well. Ooh, nice! Chip charging to finish off that game.
that was a huge comeback, especially after taking those meteors.
Yeah.
The game just completely flipped in Imden's favor.
Yeah, Emden was behind by 600 HP or something like that. Now it just brought the game back. Nice. Then we go into game 2, and now we see that Mars has that has the Super Vulcan turn 1 again, but this time we also see that white capsule, so he might end up going for it, or at least he has the option to go for it early.
Yeah, it looks like he's really thinking about it.
And it can be risky with these cubes because they can give enough time for Amden to avoid it, but Amden will probably go into Dust Cross, so this might be a play with where Mars is expecting Amden to go into Dust.
Let's see if this read pays off. I know Mars must have cleared that barrier first, too.
Yeah. Mars has attack 4 with Beast out, so it should be relatively easy to deal with that barrier if he doesn't want to throw away any chips into it. Oh, okay, so it looks like they might be and then had to deal with a call at this time, so I might just skip forward since it doesn't look like anything will be happening at this time. Okay, that was a long break. Okay.
There we go.
Ooh,
Hawk.
that's the worst cross for Mars that Amden could have gone for.
Yeah, because the status guard is going to block paralysis.
Ah,
Ooh,
unfortunately,
dodges that too.
yeah.
However, Mars did get the poison seed off, and this is going to help him in the long run.
Yeah. Especially if we see slow gauge coming out, poison seed can add up very quickly.
Yeah, I like the Elect Pulse chips because not only is Destroy Pulse strong, but even individually, the pulses, especially Elect Pulse 2, are very, very useful chips. They can use a set of combos like this.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Ooh, let's go D-Cross.
You still see. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That was plus 60, so that had the plus 30 chip as well. So unfortunately, without white capsule, that was really rough.
Now, speaking of poison, the Anubis hasn't been drawn yet, but Mars does have the opportunity to set up Poison Pharaoh, especially once Emden leaves Falter, because the feathers won't be there anymore. So without that or a Blast Man, if a Poison Pharaoh is set up, there's no way to get rid of it at all. Well, Dust as well. It's another option.
Yeah, and if so, depending on where the Poison Pharaoh gets placed, Tengu can also deal with it. Or actually, can it?
The chip?
Yeah, Tengu Man.
So if it's on the bottom, Tengu can hit it. However, because Poison Pharaoh has 100 HP and Tengu has 70, it wouldn't take it out entirely. Ooh, the Judge Man.
Did Amden step forward? Does it look like it? Ooh, Vidor coming out. Okay, so they use back B.
Oh, he's opting to chip charge the poison or the poison seed. That's an interesting choice because that's going to destroy the panels.
Yeah, I mean he didn't have time to really finish his chip charge, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, that does remove any chance of Poison Throw coming out this turn for this game.
Yeah, I mean Anubis, even though he does less damage, he does damage less quickly. I think overall, if it can survive, it does more damage because it stays more on the field.
Yeah, that's the good thing about Poison Seed, and another thing about Poison Seed too is that it does pierce invisible, whereas Poison Pharaoh doesn't.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
So you'll see more damage over time, and that's ooh.
But the elements, man, let's see if he decides to go for fire or grass. Yeah, okay.
That's actually a really good position for
nice.
Mars. Whoa! Wow. These bees are going at it. So this allows Mars to keep Tomahawk and pressure with that goat advantage. Whereas if he had gone for fire, he would have lost that damage.
Yeah. And now their HP is quite a bit similar, but we see that Amden has the -2 area. So just last game we saw the max area meters, so Amden will be thinking about that.
Now Mars does have Recovery 300, and this allows for a little more survivability, but at the same time, this also puts Mars in a really bad spot for taking double damage from... Okay, so Mars goes Tengu, so this is a good spot to really rack up damage with that. I think I'll be watching out for any like swords or decrosses that can stop that. Actually, the Pulse Resort would be a good move here as well, because that would just, you can kind of churn those out.
Yeah, and Invis can be a good way to stall out Tengu charge shots, so going with Earth Pulses can be a good way to counter that. And
ooh, ground.
Ononite mentions in chat that Amden still has Blastman, so we could see that coming as well. Ooh, no!
Either that was a misclick or he really wanted to use that Poison Seed.
I mean, I really doubt it was just for the Poison Seed. That was very likely a misclick, unfortunately. It's really annoying when this happens in a match. We just he was basically buffering inputs from the 10, and that takes him to...
Do you think he may have just been trying to go for that, or trying to toss that Poison Seed out as fast as possible, and ended up mashing through the custom screen?
Ooh, and base anomaly is coming out, which I think will be enough to finish up. 1 HP.
That's all for him. Oh, he white poked it.
Oh, nice.
So well played.
Yeah, that was the match. Well played from Enden, getting a win very quickly. And as you can see in chat, Solo's very happy with that win.
Yeah, I think on the note of mashing through the custom screen, I know that there is a patch that has the option where you have to hold start in order to confirm. And I think that's a really good quality of life thing. I know one of the recent patches had that, but definitely something to look into if you kind of have that fear of like, oh, I don't want to hit the button too fast. I've done that plenty of times as well, where you're mashing on the previous turn and you're like, oops, and next thing you know, your momentum is behind.
Yeah, and that probably actually cost Mars the game, because he might have had defense, he might have had offensive chips, and then didn't have that much HP at the end there. So even just like a TFC with meteors or something like that would be enough to give Mars that win and take us to game 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well played.
Let's see. So the next one we have up is, I believe, BitMuffin versus Flop Tart, which I love that name, by the way.
Yeah, I think Flop Tart is one of the newer players, or at least they haven't been playing as much in competitive, so we're looking forward to see how they pilot a build. Looks like made by Solid.
You've got a very solid F-code thing going on here.
Yeah.
So 3 Magnums, Magnum, great chip. One thing I see immediately too is ringlog, and I think ringlog is kind of slept on personally. Like it's by no means a bad chip. It's just you don't really see it, but if you've got like Tomahawk Cross and you charge it, very good way to cover space. It doesn't flash, I believe.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's correct. Interesting. And I guess if you can get D-Cross on a lick with it, it can do quite a bit of damage as well.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like electric D-Cross, like they can't really avoid it that easily. Like I think you can shoot them if I'm not mistaken, but like just flat out getting out of the way, like that's not going to happen. I think the reason ringlog is slept on is because a lot of the other grass chips are just better. Like I mean, there's ringlog, but then there's like bees, and it's like, oh well, why would you look at ringlog when you got bees? Or like corn shot is even pretty decent too. I mean, you can do like the corn tornado setup, but ringlog, it's good. Again, it's just not really looked at. So
yeah,
be interesting to see how that plays out.
The codes that it's in are also not really ideal for most folders, so I don't think a lot of people decide to go for it.
Yeah, and even to that point, like I think ringlog, it doesn't go over holes necessarily. So when you see when you see a chip code that shares a code with like Magnum, for example, where you're setting up holes, you might not see ringlog as something that synergizes with it well. But I think that can work. I also noticed that you've got there's bodyguard here too.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
You've got the base anomaly, so, and aura head as well.
Yeah, we also see 5 air grabs and 3 magnums, so these can be very powerful ways of denying BitMuffin from getting their Giga to connect.
You've got both pets as well, so beat and rush to support. It looks like the goal for this folder is to really lock them down and just kind of go at it.
I think another interesting thing to point out is, or at least to just notice, that Salad decided to use this build with Falzar, whereas normally you'd see Gregor to try to get the plus 30 for these machine guns and magnums, and to allow you to set up to charge shots.
Yeah, because there's nothing in the folder immediately that makes you think, okay, like I want to lock somebody down and like hit them a lot, but because this isn't even attack 5. However, there's charge max, so things like Tomahawk and Tengu Cross can still pressure pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And Bass Anomaly point blank is, as we saw last game, it does hurt a lot. So.
Yeah, I mean, we might even see Grand Cross with being set up with magnums, so that would be fun to see.
That'd be a fun watch, actually.
Yeah. Alright, well, let's head right into the match then.
Yep. Starting out with the Grumman SP, and you've got the Volcano panel, so it'd be interesting to see how the Fulcher players choose to deal with this as opposed to Gregor.
Yeah, so depending on which cross Tart decides to go for turn 1, this full cast might not be ideal for BitMuffin, because
No, go ahead.
So it's just thinking, if Tart decides to go with Dust Cross, then they will also get advantage out of the full cast, but I don't think BitMuffin can really do anything about that.
And again, with BitMuffin's win conditioning being Shuffle BRS, interesting to see how they choose to deal with this.
Yeah.
But the bug fix turn 1 is good.
Yeah, that's always really nice to see. And it looks like they have the machine gun now, so even if Flop Tart decides to go with Dust Cross, they can get the early D cross. Let's see if that's how. Ooh.
Interesting. So no digging this turn. Immediately goes for the area pressure we were talking about.
And the Magnum. Nice. So this will deny any charge shots to come out from BitMuffin. Ooh.
And even, like you said, even with the area grabs right now, without air shoes, they're just stuck in that column.
Yeah.
One thing BitMuffin's going to be aware of too is that Flop Tart is using Beat, so the last thing you want is for Beat to eat your BRS. That's not a fun position to be in.
Yeah, especially with attack 1 Gregor, so you don't really have that much potential to get in damage.
Yeah, even if you're like landing hits, like it's going to be in the lower end as opposed to attack 5.
So, yeah. Although that being said, Flop Tart doesn't have that much HP. They have no recoveries and just 1400.
So BitMuffin really needs to get over there and just start landing that.
Ooh,
Okay,
nice.
the life floor is up. And yeah, even right now, like the plus area that BitMuffin is trying to get back can't really be used because they're just stuck in that back row without any way to move forward.
Yeah. Nice, and that Raceman does connect. So this Invis was used a bit early, so I think it will expire before the end of turn. Okay, so it lasted a bit more.
Ooh, let's see if. If Beat is still up, this might not be a good place to be in.
Yeah. Let's see, they can still have the option to use in a TFC.
Oh,
no! Ah. And the TFC could have been coming as well. Life Aura would have been used straight at the start of turn.
I think as an alternative, what BitMuffin can do now is step forward and try pressuring with Slash.
Yeah.
It won't be a lot of damage, but it'll at least give something you can, kind of chip away at their health bar.
Yeah, and the only breaking chip that Flop Tart has is Aura Head, which can be pretty difficult to connect.
Yeah, Aura Head has to be either aimed or confirmed.
Yeah.
So without that, it's going to be tricky. So what BitMuffin wants now is just a way to get rid of that aura first and foremost. So a wind rack, if possible. And there isn't one this turn, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this folder doesn't have Heat Dragons either, so can't rely on that.
And again, with a negative of, actually, matter of fact, I think is Charge Beast Charge Shot. It is fire, correct?
It is fire. Yeah.
Yeah, so that might be the one way that they could knock off the aura this turn.
And yeah, I don't know. It's very unreliable to try to go for that. It's very difficult to confirm.
Because even with attack 1, like even using the charge shot from charge or heat wouldn't work at attack 1, even on grass. Oh no!
Ooh. The 2 hits connect from the Antisword. And yeah, unfortunately, having nothing.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be enough damage to break through it. So it really needs a wind rack to pierce that. Ooh!
Unfortunately, missing Battle is still destroying some of these holy panels. And finally, we see that wind rack coming out.
Yeah, at this point, I would definitely look to switch crosses. If only because charge can't really pressure in that position.
Yeah.
That uninstall is going to be useful, though.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to go with something like a like or even erase charge and just pressuring.
So actually, as a matter of fact, even like erase tail arrows at this point would be a great option.
Yeah, though I think it doesn't. I don't really know the values for less than 5, but I don't think it does that much damage.
Yeah, well, the one thing too with erase tail arrows is that you do get the it's a miss with the ice. With the tail arrows, you do get the point blank. Get the HP bugs from those, and that will help out some too. Yeah. And also it kills traps.
Oh, this turn was really good for Plopta. Fortunately, that miss on the Element Man cost them a lot of damage actually. 200 and then 260 I think from base anomaly as well.
Yeah, Sanctuary, you don't want to sleep on the Holy Panels in terms of how much damage they can mitigate in a turn.
Yeah, I mean, we might actually, if we don't see a slow gauge being used, we might go into Damage Judge. Though that being said, Floptar should have quite a bit of damage still left in the folder, even if just going for Tango Cross there and pressuring with charge shots.
Yeah, that would be very powerful at this point.
Yeah.
Having that kind of damage.
Ooh.
Okay, so once to get rid of that charge. Ooh, that's going to be confirmed.
Nice.
Taking
bit too long.
Oh, it got it. Oh, that's going to be a decross on the side. And still camp forward though. This is not the best position for BitMuffin.
Yeah, especially with that basically 400 damage and 400 HP barrier. Ooh, nice.
Steps forward at the last frame. This is actually so. Yeah, BitMuffin can actually claim the area back with this turn. Because the wind rack, the okay, opts not to use the. Yeah, Grab Revenge would be a very solid option at this turn. Especially when you're going with Slash. You want that. Okay, opts for Heat.
Okay, so maybe trying to go with the 2x with grass panels. And yeah, so as Honor Knight is saying in chat, so BitMuffin already has regained their panels, so all they need to do is use a wind wrap, which would deal with both barrier and pushback. Okay, nice, using area grab to remove the anti-damage.
Yeah, Floptart opting to destroy as many of the holy panels as possible.
And then again with that machine gun, that was very rough. Ooh, but we know now that this is an anti-navi up for Floptart.
Or it could be anti-sword as well, but.
Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah, opting to go with Heat Beast. So between the grass and the Heat Beast damage, this will still do a decent amount. It won't be the full 400, but
and being able
to know that that's not anti-damage. This is gonna. Steps into it, but doesn't take the double grass damage.
The aura head just missing, unfortunately, and now BitMuffin is down to their last 3 chips. So.
I would go for the tail arrows, especially with being in dusk.
Yeah, that is a really good point.
Yeah, because that would actually wipe out the trap at once. Also, decrossing. And adding an HP bugs that would definitely help in terms of closing that gap.
Yeah.
Or closing gap, I should say.
Ooh. Okay, so that was an anti-navi that replaces different trap. you know, BitMuffin's trying to get as much damage as possible from that Beast Buster. Now we see they have plus HP already, so they're ahead on HP already.
Yeah.
So this game can still be closed.
Yeah. Let's see if they opt to change the cross or not. Actually, Elec would be scary too, if only because you can wreck the panels outright.
Yeah.
Oh, this could close it out.
Ooh, roadblock coming out.
Oh.
1 damage. Unfortunately, that Woodrock ends up missing. And now, nice.
Wow. Now, one adjustment I would like to see in this game is, now that BitMuffin knows that beat is a factor,
Yeah.
gonna have to sacrifice one of their Navi chips to it.
Yeah, and it can be difficult to decide which Navi to sacrifice actually, because they have Erase Man, Groundman SP, Judgman SP, Element Man, and obviously that Giga. So it can be a difficult decision with which one to throw. All of them are really good.
Yeah, that's the one downside of you. I like having a Navi that you can kind of use as fodder, where you may not need it. Because beat can really mess up your folder's energy if you don't take that into account.
Yeah. Ooh. See these area grabs and into a Magnum.
So it doesn't get the hit, however, BitMuffin is trapped back there.
Yeah, now there it is. Floptop was able to use Charge Shot to deal with the anti-damage either way.
Yeah, BitMuffin can be kind of chill there. The uninstall will be good for sure. They'll just kind of hang out until the BRS and or bug fix is procced. Ooh. Oh, that's...
Yeah. Okay, so these spawns fixed, but unfortunately with warp step it can be very difficult to try to land, and yeah, all of that machine gun will be wasted on that barrier, unfortunately.
The BitMuffin fighting back for area. The good thing is with float shoes, BitMuffin is not worrying about the poison at least.
Yeah. And now they do have that judgment, so that might be the chip to throw away into beat. I don't think we've seen that happen already. Okay, we're still waiting for bug fix as well. Looks like BitMuffin is going with Erase Man as the last chip to try to get D-Cross with that. Oh, nice. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least it's blocked. But...
And another air grab. Oh, okay.
So BRS showing up is good. Now we just need bug fix to fix the movement issues. Oh, and speaking of,
and there it is. Nice. Unfortunately, no slow gauge, so it's not quite the perfect hand, but it's still pretty good. Air grab as well. Though actually, I think Magnum was used on the front panels, so I don't think BitMuffin's going to be able to center themselves.
well, they can't anyway because it's okay. They got the area grab.
Ooh. And now, actually, now that I look at it, using bug fix earlier was bad because now BitMuffin is trapped there. Whereas if they still had warp step, they could have been able to get out.
Oh, that's true.
That's an interesting thing where bug fix was a bad play to do early.
Still very doable for BitMuffin.
Yeah, definitely. Both of them still have quite high HP. Okay, so it looks like BitMuffin's deciding to go with a bit more defensive build, going with an anti-damage and sanctuary. T-Chomp is asking in chat, couldn't they use Grandman to try to panel lock Flop Tart? Yeah, there's another option to try to go for. Though unfortunately, with the way Grandman works, you don't necessarily have the option to trap your opponent in. So it's not guaranteed, but yeah.
It is random, but
yeah,
it can help.
No way. Actually, that could be a Judgman at the first chip. Okay, so yeah, definitely the option here would be starting with the Judgman. There it is, yeah. Ooh, Magnum though.
Take away the holy panels.
Nice.
Okay, that's really good. It's gonna clear some area up. Grab that back.
Yeah. Then
Slow game. It's gonna be a very profitable turn for BitMuffin.
And the barrier 200 as well. Ooh. And that was an end sword, nice.
I thought it was anti-damage for a second.
Yeah. Ooh, that second machine gun doing quite a bit of damage. Both of them going down to about 100 HP difference.
2 recover 300s though, that can be a game changer.
Yeah, getting these machine guns has been very good. Unfortunately, no counter hit, but that was still, I think, getting 4 hits through that, which is still quite a bit of damage. This game could definitely go either way. Ooh.
Ooh, if one of those BRSs connects.
Yeah, going to Tengu is an interesting play. Can be very risky though. Pushing back. Ooh, nice.
Ooh. Let's see where this goes.
And if this is an anti-damage, then that will also confirm 100 hit. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. And then that's the other hit, and then one more charge will finish off the game.
Nice.
There it is, yeah. I can see, so I'm guessing Flop Tart went into Tengu to try to pull BitMuffin away from these holy panels at the back to try to get that base anomaly to hit. But unfortunately, taking that 400 is too much damage to take in one turn.
Yeah, the base anomaly wasn't enough to close it out. It's unfortunate, but it was close.
Yeah, that was really well played from both sides. That was actually a very close match in both games. Let's head into our next match, which is Shougen vs Amden.
All right, so we have seen Elmo's set up already, but let's look at what Shugen has. So you've got a this is a very traditional salad folder. You've got your B's, or B ban is set up here.
Yeah.
The Boomer fire hit combo. You've got the Miramasa for burst damage as well. It's kind of a comeback factor. So You've also got the strong beat-coded navies as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Pokemon, Blast Man, and that synergizes with the grass as well. So it's
definitely. And this is, I mean, B code is one of the stronger codes, if you can call it that, and it has B banish combo. It has, as you mentioned, grass. So these high boomers that can be charged into fire hits. These SP navies. So there's a lot of damage that could come out, and we see through that Navicast as well. Salad has, I mean, Shugen has beat and rush, which can apply pressure on their own as well.
And yeah, one thing that Honor Knight mentions is between the Muramasa and Protoman, like that is very much Tengu hate.
Yeah.
Like it's like anybody that goes on Tengu Cross is gonna get punished hard if they're not careful.
Yeah, definitely.
I noticed that pretty much all these folders have had base in it outside of the BRS. Nothing but base, and one of them had Delta Ray, but
yeah,
a lot of base representation today.
Yeah, Sol, I'm sure is very happy to see that. But yeah, so I think for this matchup, both of these folders can have a bit of burst damage, but one thing that Amden has to watch out for is their lack of fire chips. So Shugen can very easily go into Tomahawk Cross, try to get that B banish or these M boomers, doing a lot of damage through them, whereas Amden only has Element Man and Blast Man, which both allow for a TFC.
Yeah. And Blast is a solid D-cross option, but as you said, like because there's TFC allowed, like it's not as reliable as other fire chips that don't have that issue, like even fire or just different things like that can decross. Like Fire Sword, for example, is very good for that as well. So
yeah, alright, let's head into the match, see how it plays out. So unfortunately the audio for this match is desynced, so I'll be playing different music track on top of that. Okay, so seeing it from Shugen's point of view, and we already see these machine guns and turn 1 life aura, so that could be an option to go for.
Yeah, Machine Gun is a very good dust punish. And looking at the first barrier, that may be...
And there it is.
Sure enough, dust comes out.
But that was in a TFC, which I don't think that was how Amden wanted it, because now they still have to deal with Rush, and this TFC didn't really do anything. Ooh, and the counter hit.
I noticed that there was an area grab in their hand starting out, so I don't know if they want to keep that for this turn or...
So I think unfortunately they don't really have anything to really get advantage out of that 2x. I guess Machine Gun could be a good option, but with Super Armor still being there for Amden, they can easily avoid that.
That's true.
And yeah, Muramasa is there, still at 0 damage, so that's not really an option.
The Boomer might be a solid option. It'll set up the fire damage that this folder has, and...
So actually an interesting thing is that if Amden decides to stay in baseman and they don't mash out of it, they can try to get anger from that and try to do a play of their own.
Yeah, it looks like let me see. Looks like Shugen may be wanting to keep the boost from the full synchro, or debating on whether to keep that or to go with the digging strategy.
And I do think that going to dust can be a pretty good option still, because they have the life aura and then invis to try to proc that rush as well. Or maybe going for the spicy play where using machine gun with full synchro and then use triggering rush with baseman and then getting anger through that and using machine gun again with anger.
Yeah, that's the main benefit of baseman, is that you do get the emotions, and that can really help a lot in terms of burst damage that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Okay, so it looks like instead deciding to go into dust. Ooh, and we're seeing spout coming out. And another counter hit.
The aura is up.
Okay, there goes rush.
Doesn't throw the boot.
Okay.
Oh, it came in. So Shugen, I know, wants to get rid of this aura. So Tengu looks like the best option for that. Also, Judgman's there for the potential decross as well.
Okay, an interesting thing that Shugen can go for is you go into Tengu to deal with the aura, but also using an area grab, which will basically force Amden to be pushed back to the back row to avoid getting hit, and then getting hit, then using that fire hit on the grass.
Ooh.
Unfortunate, getting decrossed. Axe is asking chat, doesn't dust back B get rid of aura? No, it doesn't. So you might be thinking of the mod card effect with Dustman. That has wind.
Yeah, I wish that got rid of aura from Dust Cross. Yeah, Honor Knight says dust is good enough.
Yeah.
Now, if dust had that, oh, bruh. That would be impressive.
Okay, so it looks like Shugen is going for double point B banish, but then unfortunately, because they have plus area, that B banish combo isn't going to work as intended. That grab banish isn't going to be doing much.
Yeah, the only chance this has is that they go for, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, if Emden were to go for an area grab, that would have worked, but that didn't happen. So
Yeah.
that strategy.
Unfortunate TFC with losing that invis as well. Oh, nice.
Like you said before, because there's a lack of fire chips, with one area grab, there's a lot of potential for pressure with Hawk.
Yeah.
And you've also got a Blastman SP here, so this is a very good turn for damage on this side.
Yeah, definitely. So, their Shugen has two options to basically finish off the game this turn. They can go for Blastman into Protoman or Elementman into Base Anomaly. Both of these options can just straight up finish the game. And as that's another very good example of B-Code doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, those B-Navies hurt, like, a lot. Yeah. Especially as cross punishes or just combination with grass or...
I think... Yeah, that...
Oh! The Vidal's still there.
Yeah, and shooting that should remove invis.
Oh, no!
Ooh! Nice, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt him.
At least that didn't take the element with it as well, so that wasn't 500 damage decross. And Golem hit, nice. Into Erase Man.
Alright, so it's not gonna paralyze with the status guard.
their HP is very similar, only about less than 20 HP difference. Let's see how they decide to go with it. I don't think we've seen either Gigas come out yet, so...
Yeah, that's right, because no base on either side.
Ooh, early invis. I think...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's... So, you can chip charge that high boomer and that... Ooh!
1 HP and the air grab finish. Unfortunately, I think with the Blastman, that was 3 frames, so they both used it within 3 frames of each other. So it was just basically lucky for Shugen that it was used for them first.
As we said before, like, Grass has so many good chips like that. Like, look at Boomer, for example.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick. It covers a wide area, creates its own grass. The damage is good, and the chip charge on T-Hawk is even better. So, looking at that, looking at the bees that he has in the folder right now, like, Grass has some super strong options. There's a lot of staples in this folder too.
And we do see that bees as the last chip in hand, so we know that next turn Grab Banish is going to be one of the chips to come out. Ooh, counter hit! Unfortunately that judgment was a bit too early, so...
Yeah, because now he can't use
Ooh, that blast one is going to... No! 500 damage is going to come out! Oh, wow! And the anger was wasted on... Okay.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So now we see both of them have crack panels, so we'll be expecting them to go into Tengu or Beast out. So it looks like Shugen's thinking about going into Tengu and taking that B-Banish, which is a bit of an interesting choice, especially with these broken panels, because double point doesn't activate on broken panels.
Yeah, it looks like Shugen can just wait this out until the panels come back. At the very least, get the D-Cross, or get the D-Cross first. Now, what's interesting is that Emden may opt to go into Tengu themselves as well. So, that or a Beast out.
Okay, looks like. Ooh, and beat might have taken Judgeman or Iceman. Okay, never mind.
Catches him moving.
Ooh, nice, breaking more of that area and avoiding that machine gun. And Super Vulcan, though that didn't have a white capsule, so it didn't quite finish off the game.
Yeah, he took quite a few hits from that before he stepped.
Yeah. It can actually be very surprising, which that's one thing that I noticed with Tank Cannon as well, is that people don't really expect to see it, so their reaction comes out a bit slower than what they'd like. And looks like they're going for more defensive turn, both of them using life aura, though I think it was a bit early with from Emden because of that Tengu cross. Okay, so just breaking panels, trying to deny maybe that Giga from coming out, or even Protoman.
Be interesting to see if he opts to go for the Miramasa now, or wait until later game where Tengu Cross gets used and use that as an opportunity to come back. Okay, he's going for that.
Yeah, so and they might decide to go into Tengu to try to deal with that, or but looks like that wasn't the play. Oh, nice Teguman. That will also deal with the anti-damage.
Ooh.
Last one. Does that have a white capsule though? It does. Is that enough to finish off the game?
Oh.
And
He steps into the buster shot.
yeah. Going into game 3.
So 3 invises on the first turn. So
Yeah.
you may want to dust this folder a bit just to push some of those back.
Especially seeing this cube field, so and the race man actually. So going into dust can be very good for Shugen trying to get a decross and free damage from these cubes.
Now, if Emden chooses to go into that as well, that'll be interesting. It's a game of who gets the cubes first.
Yeah. But even then, Emden only has a race man as their option to decross, so it's a lot safer for Shugen to go into dust.
So he goes with Spout. Freezes. Nobody chose dust.
Ah, and we see that bubble star coming out, but unfortunately Rush starting to activate, so we could be seeing a Dull Thunder as well. Ooh, Super Volcan. Nice.
Yeah, you know. He breaks the rock.
Okay, Eric Grab will at least deal with that first barrier. Fortunately, using the emblem might not be ideal there because that removes these ice panels, so then has the option of freezing.
Yeah, Emden's in a very good spot here. I don't think he's taken any damage yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, what Shugen could do is potentially get a freeze from one of those ice panels, but at the same time, now that he's in Beast Out, have to go for the Aqua Spiral.
I think they had Elementsman and Judgment, so these could have been ways to try to set up for Muramasa. But looks like they decided against doing that for this turn. Unfortunately. And now Raceman connects. There is still that Dull Thunder waiting in Emden's folder, which can do a lot of damage.
Oh,
Though unfortunately half that is going to miss. Yeah, that would have been game.
yeah, he pops the anti-damage.
And completely misses with that machine gun. This is looking really rough.
Yeah, there's no recovery in this folder either.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we could still see Muramasa and Tengu, which would steal the game. So that is still something that could happen. Ooh, Vidor coming out. Vidor does pierce him. Okay, grass seed as well. Unfortunate miss with that Muramasa. But yeah, Buster Shots will be enough, and that Dolphin. So actually, there was an anti-damage, yeah. Okay.
So okay, he's not out yet, but
Yeah.
it's very rough.
I mean, technically, bees can do 1500 HP in one turn, so they...
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that this folder could come back damage-wise. There's the Blast Man combination. You've got a lot of grass fire going on here.
And that base only.
He's too.
Bees, get out of the bees, nice! Okay,
Wow.
that's really good.
Oh, but it wasn't.
No.
Area if he had -1 area, that would have hurt a lot.
Yeah. I
Wow,
think 2 beehives missed, which was a lot of damage, so that was unfortunate at the end there.
Yeah, that could have been a very nasty bee bandit situation.
But yeah, well played. That was a fun match to see. Both players trying to use their folders to their maximum, trying to get the most advantage out of them. Okay, so now we'll be heading into our final match. So this was Swiss tournament. So this finals match is going to be between the top 2 players by the final round, which will be BitMuffin vs Shadow.
Yep. So this is kind of a repeat matchup from the first match, but again, I mean, nothing too much to add. Just this is a Gregor versus Gregor match, and again, traditional Gregor versus Shuffle BRS.
Yeah, so what do you think would be some of the things that we'd be expecting Amdent might want to use here? So, I mean, not Amdent, sorry. So BitMuffin, they've already played against Shadow. So what are some of the things that they want to improve in this match after playing that first match?
For BitMuffin, especially, just being aware of knowing when to pressure, and also keeping in mind being able to, well, one, with that kind of folder, you want to dig out your bug fix and BRS ASAP, but also I wouldn't pressure with area until you have that.
Yeah.
You can get one good slow gauge turn, and that can be enough to close it out. So knowing when and where to do that is crucial when you're running a BRS setup. And that's really the best advice I can give, is just, again, knowing how to use that. I would also know when to go out of charge cross and kind of explore some of the other crosses, just to either get splash damage, or, you know, if you've got a situation where you can use Beast, like taking advantage of things like Eraser Tail Arrows is a great strategy as well. So.
Yeah, these are really good points. Alright, well, let's head into our final match, which will also be a double VOD as well. Okay, so now we get the chance to see both players' perspective, see how they decide to take hands, and how they play around them.
So right off the bat, I'm looking at BitMuffin, and they've got okay, so the area grabs are out, and they're still digging for the bug fix and the BRS. So charge is definitely a solid option to expand your custom. And I guess the other thing about Gregor too is that you do kind of have to play the hand that's dealt you in terms of what you get. So if you don't have what you want, you kind of have to burn through your chips in a sense.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Whereas Falter has more of a luxury to sit back and do some more like digging. Like even with Shuffle, there's still only so much you can do with this setup in BN6 on Gregor's side.
And now we see BitMuffin's being stuck with that warp step, unfortunately having to take multiple hits at times from Erase, whereas Shadow is still holding onto that barrier 200 and having some defense in hand.
Ooh, and the barrier 200, the holy battle. But there is a win back here.
Yeah. Okay, so you see that shuffle on BitMuffin's screen. They're holding onto the uninstall. There is they're playing against Gregor, so they don't have to worry about Hub Batch giving some of these pieces back.
Yeah, the uninstall machine gun is very strong.
Yeah. Okay, looks like, I mean, I think in this position throwing away the slow gauge might be a good option, just to go through one more chip in your build and yeah. Okay, so they might end up going with grass. Actually, Alec could be good.
Well, not with the ground man.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But with the ground man, they can get rid of the get rid of some of the panels.
Yeah.
And that would break the barrier.
Unfortunately, it doesn't do any damage. But now they have that machine gun. Nice.
Okay.
Ooh. avoiding that race stellar with the charger. Nice. That was very well played. And now we see that Bug Riser sword in hand.
I definitely recommend digging for the bug fix. Is that?
Oh, perfect. It is, yeah, and 2 area grabs as well. This is actually a really good turn. BitMuffin can go with a full cost to waste one of Shadow's Beast turns, or just go straight with that Bug Riser sword to apply pressure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of using the full cost this turn because that will, like you said, sacrifice one of the Beast turns, and then also give them a chance to look for a slow gauge.
That was the bug fix was TFC'd, which I think was an accidental TFC, just BitMuffin trying to get out that full cost as soon as possible. So
this, that's scary. That means that BitMuffin's really going to have to close this out before those bugs get to be a deterrent. Yeah, I would take the win rack too, because that bubble is going to be an issue against BRS.
Okay, so area grab and a bit of recovery coming out. Shadow is chip charging his defense.
Ooh, good judgment.
Nice, yeah. And that will interrupt the charge as well, so that gives a bit more time. Unfortunately, yeah, that broken panel.
I actually think Warp Step might be good here against the with the tail arrows.
Yeah, I mean, it does make it
pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it more likely to avoid it, but to be honest, I would have just camped on that one holy panel that was there for BitMuffin and just took the hits, taking 100 instead of gambling on very low chance of avoiding a 200. Ooh, but now we saw there from Shadow's hand, he has that defense and his Giga on this turn. Let's see if he's able to use that to finish off this game.
Anti-sword.
Okay, so as a reminder, this game will be a best of 5. Oh, nice. That will connect and deal with the first anti-damage. And then Judge Man will come out, so that will give the information that this is an anti-sword. Unfortunately.
Dodges one of them, but
yeah. Let's see if that Delta Ray comes out in time.
Not the right positioning.
A bit too early. This might actually cost Shadow the game. Okay, he still has a bit more area grab, so...
Oh, now Shadow's the one pressuring.
Yeah. Shadow needs to be careful to avoid getting hit because of his low HP. Ooh.
So I noticed even with Charge Cross, like that +1 custom starts to run out without bug fix. So that's interesting to note. It doesn't keep going up. Like it maxes out and then it starts draining.
Yeah, so it goes up to 3 turns maximum, I believe. Okay, so
I would swap out of Charge Cross if I were BitMuffin and even using Slash Cross to kind of push Shadow away. Well, actually, no, you've got the charge shots anyway.
The TFC didn't come out.
Oh!
No.
That's right, with BRS, the cross wouldn't matter in terms of charge shot, so that's something to keep in mind.
Really interesting. So BitMuffin is saying in chat that they were locked out of using Life Hour because of chip lockout.
Oh.
Yeah, so there are a few chips or attacks, you can call them, in the game that have chip lockout, which means that you aren't able to use any chip, even as TFC, for 30 frames. And that Bug Riser sword is one of the gigas that caused that to happen. And yeah, so crossing out would have been the correct option, as Ononice mentioned in chat. Yeah, so it looks like BitMuffin didn't know that this overrode lockout. Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Ooh, that could have been a D-cross.
Okay, so
yeah, I like this option here.
Yeah. slow gauge coming out. So these cubes can be good to allow BitMuffin to center themselves.
I actually really like Warp Step in a situation like this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Warp Step can be actually really good defensively as well. Ooh, barely missing out.
Fire.
Yeah. And now the Element Trap is going off with Charge Cross.
Yeah, very good way to deal with that.
Nice. Baiting out that charge. Though unfortunately gets clipped at the end there.
Ooh, so we have an uninstall opportunity here. And the only defense that Shadow has is Bubble Wrap, so if BitMuffin can pop the bubble first and then uninstall. Actually, the Wood Dragon's gonna be great to decross as well.
Nice, yeah. Though it might be risky to use that with the uninstall, yeah, okay. Machine Gun uninstall is definitely the better combo to go with. Ooh. Unfortunately, yeah.
Whoa! Wow, that was step forward at the very last second.
At least it does deal with a bit of the Holy Pounds and that decross and that Machine Gun uninstall getting full hits. We do see these two area grabs, so just hoping to get that bug fix, bug rise sword, and there it is. The one area grab.
In BitMuffin's case, I might have taken the Wood Dragon to get rid of the Holy Panels and also another decross opportunity.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Judge Man can pop the bubble though, which is good. Okay, opts to use it before the bubble comes back, but this is still solid.
Unfortunately, stepping back allowed the Shadow to avoid that charge shot, and now the area grab does come out. Let's see. Nice. BitMuffin using that warp step to immediately come forward.
Oh, the crack steps are breaking the Holy Panel. This is unfortunate.
Ooh. We do see the Delta Ray Edge in Shadow's hand, so he might end up going for that, but we also see BitMuffin deciding between going full cast or just holding into that bug rise sword trying to apply pressure. Ooh, okay, so at least that's half damage.
Yeah, the BRS is out.
And I think that was the correct option for BitMuffin, to go straight for full cast because they didn't have any area grabs and they still want to find that bug fix.
Yeah, this might be a good... Okay, so it doesn't opt to use the Wind Rack.
Oh, unfortunate. And then crack panels. Ooh, though that will deny the area from coming back. Oh, nice. Ooh. Just barely in time.
Ooh, but Groundman can't... That won't work until the hole is cleared.
Yeah, and we see the second anti-damage, so let's hope... Ooh, that was an anti-sword, okay.
Okay, good use in the Groundman. That's probably going to break one of the Holy Panels too.
Okay, just one. That's still better than nothing.
Okay, nice. Getting that damage racking up. Bug fix is there.
Okay, and getting that life aura as well, though unfortunately no area grabs, which means it's a bit more difficult to try to maintain that plus area and getting in more damage.
Yeah, that bug fix is going to help a lot. I see Shadow thinking about Delta Ray.
So there is one broken panel, so I don't think Delta Ray would have the maximum hit with this arrangement, so you need to wait for that to get fixed.
Goes for charge.
Ooh. Yeah, unfortunately, BitMuffin doesn't have any defense, so they're forced to just take that grab revenge.
So if they catch BitMuffin in the front, this could be a full Delta Ray edge.
Yeah, and even the life
Wait.
A bit too early, yeah. So just one hit, which removes that life aura. Though it looks like Shadow is playing it a bit more safe, avoiding going in with his charge shots to avoid taking hits from BitMuffin.
He also has an anti-sword he's sitting on.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, in that position, if Shadow took both hits, then he could have just finished off the game. He could have done 300 damage from the anti-sword and 100 from anti-damage.
Yeah, that would have been enough, because that would have popped the anti-damage first, and then the anti-sword, he can kind of camp the front and bait one of those slashes out.
Okay, and looks like now BitMuffin has a few air grabs. Though they also have...
Go ahead.
No, so I was just saying they have that recovery in hand that they could decide to go with.
I do like the idea of BitMuffin potentially using a race cross a little more. Just, machine guns.
So if you saw that from Shadow's point of view, Shadow had the life aura, but unfortunately because that machine gun hit and flinched during the 3-frame startup for that life aura, end up going away from Shadow.
Ooh, this is a... Shadow was playing with fire.
Ooh, and Raceman coming out, so that will allow Shadow to do one more charge if BitMuffin isn't able to mash out in time. So this might be enough to finish off the game just there. Oh, nice.
Wasn't enough.
Okay, and Shadow's down to his last 3 chips, whereas BitMuffin still has a lot of chips left.
I actually like the anti-navi here a little bit more. Because with anti-element, the only thing that BitMuffin's really doing that's elemental is the charge tackles.
Yeah.
And you can't hit those anyway with anti-element.
Let's see if Shadow's going to be able to avoid
thing either because of the BRS.
Yeah. He's chip charging the anti-navi. Let's see. Unfortunately wasn't able to connect.
Wrong row.
Yeah, and now he's out of chips, so he has to rely on his buster shots, whereas BitMuffin still has a bit more defense, still has that wood dragon trying to deal with these holy panels as well.
So interesting, BitMuffin opts to go for the beast out as well.
Ooh,
oh no!
Element trap is coming out. BitMuffin didn't know about that, and that finishes off the game.
Turn 1 bug fix. That's a very good place to be.
Yeah, and turn 1 life aura as well. So this is actually a very nice start for BitMuffin.
Yeah, at this point, establish some defense. And this is a great place to start digging for like the BRS. I would take the life aura.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, and we see on Shadow's hand, the only thing he has to deal with that life aura is anti-element, which BitMuffin is able to play around.
The Shadow going for a race. Oh, this may be an erase beast play.
Yeah.
The only thing that BitMuffin has to decross him is Windrack.
Shadow getting few hits with his charge shots. And now Element Trap coming out.
Yeah, the tackle's gonna...
Let's see if BitMuffin goes for one, though he doesn't know. I mean, they don't know about it. Okay, there it is.
Oh, he can beast out and step out of the way.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be the best play here. Yeah, I don't know if I'll toss the barrier immediately, but the other slow gauge for sure can be chip charged.
Yeah, I mean...
The uninstall on BitMuffin side. So.
So uninstall is going to be less effective in this matchup because neither of them really have much to deal with, to do, to get advantage out of it. I mean, forcing him to lose super armor is nice, but it's not that big in this matchup.
Okay, obviously use the barrier. I agree with that. Not gonna break it either.
Yeah, and now chip charging, trying to get that confirmed hit. Nice, and there it is.
Oh, I think he was a chip.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. But now BitMuffin using the anti-damage a bit too quickly, which will force them to lose it, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is... For a race beast, this is a very strong position to be in. I'm not sure what BitMuffin has up their sleeve to deal with a race beast in this situation. Because at this point, really, Shadow can just start chip charging a lot of his catalog and close.
I think they're ideally for BitMuffin. Obviously, they would want to find their Giga Chip, which is their main win condition. Because with that, they can very easily out DPS race cross.
Yeah, it's just the only issue is that slow gauge is already active.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to spend a lot of time. Oh, there's a focus. That's
nice.
actually a very solid option that I would consider. Knock out one of those turns.
Yeah. I think this is actually a really good hand. So maybe using Bugrise Sword and then straight into full cast, which will allow BitMuffin to use next turn to either use Sanctuary or try to find recoveries.
Ooh, last minute.
I think that should have been a TFC for BitMuffin trying to reduce that damage. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, even then Shadow can still keep his hand and not have to worry about that as much. But I don't think Shadow's got a hand yet.
So we know that BitMuffin has Life Aura as an option, but Shadow doesn't know that. But he's probably thinking through, maybe he should... Okay, so he is keeping his hand.
Yeah, there'd be no reason for Shadow to throw away those extra tail arrows at all. And without this turn, I don't know how BitMuffin's going to deal with the rest of these arrows.
Yeah, so unfortunately, BitMuffin threw away the Life Aura because they couldn't have known that Shadow actually decided to go into Race Beast out to deal with that Life Aura, with the Holy Panels. So taking Life Aura there would have completely denied Elec Beast.
This is a really bully play from Shadow for the Elect, and just
step back.
The tail arrow still could have closed it out.
It's BitMuffin trying to bait out. Ooh, nice. Okay, getting the anti-damage for free. Oh no! Just at the end of turn.
I would cross out and heal immediately.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we might even see... Okay, I mean, Shadow has more than enough HP to beast over if he wants to, but obviously that's a way riskier play. Okay, so we do see that cross cancel immediately into the recovery mash, and there it is. Ooh. Probably going for wood, yeah.
Clear the holy panels out.
And doesn't cause flashing either. And we see that Windrak. Ooh, and so... that would have finished the game.
If he stayed in the middle.
Ooh, nice. BitMuffin getting that feeling. Instead of going to pressure with their charge shots, they were worried about something to come out like a Windrak. Had they been trying to pressure with the charge shot, that would have been game already.
Yeah, this is
Ooh.
Yeah, I think slash is going to be the move. Just take advantage of that area, pressure, even taking a wind rack or something to deal with a potential aura that BitMuffin's going to use. So.
But now we do see that Delta Ray Edge coming out from Shadow, so is he able to use that to finish off the game? If BitMuffin's able to stay camping up, they will be able to avoid everything. Ooh.
Ooh, I'm going to deny that. And the Delta Ray here, assuming that BitMuffin.
Yeah, let's see if that match goes through, and it does. And that will finish off that game, bringing BitMuffin down to 1 HP and finishing off that match as well.
So
Closing
well
off the
played.
tournament. Yeah, that was really well played from both sides. That was a lot of fun to watch through. Yeah, as BitMuffin saying, Chad, the perfect finish with that 3 hits Delta Ray Edge. GG's. And yeah, so that will conclude the final match for today's stream. So thank you everyone for watching. So before we finish off the stream, I'm going to shout out for thank you Buster Cannon for joining me on commentary. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Likewise.
And yeah, thanks to everyone that joined that tournament. That was very good to try to find out, to experiment with Radman. And yeah, so one thing, if people have any suggestions for this layout, I just tried to make something quickly and see how it worked out, especially with the voice bubbles, so we can try to integrate that into future streams. Oh yeah, and an important thing to shout out before I forget is that signups for the next new moon will be starting up from tomorrow. So new moon will be using the infinite beast out mod. So the way that works is that we have a patch that keeps Mega Man in beast out and it doesn't expire, which also means there is no beast over. So we will be doing 2 weeks of that for new moon and then 2 weeks for mod cards, which will, and the second week will be blood moon, which will conclude our last new moon for, actually no, would it be the last one in 2020? No, we have one more I think afterwards. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. Make sure to join NYGP Discord if you're interested. You can find out more information on how to join.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later. Goodbye.
All right. Take care.
Bye.